Hey y'all, this is Rebecca Bush. Just got married. Previously, Rebecca Powers with the PERMApowers podcast, exploring all things related to well being. And in this topic, something that comes up very often is having strong communications, encrypted communications, and really honoring the values of privacy and being autonomous. So, we have brought a dear friend to the podcast today, Ramiro Romani, the founder of Aove Phone, and also Take Back Our Tech. Ramiro, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey Rebecca, newly married Rebecca. It's such a pleasure to have attended your wedding and see all the happiness shared among you. And yeah, really excited to be here with your audience today, talking about something that will help improve their relationships.
Well, it was funny because it was actually after the wedding, we had like a farewell brunch for all the folks who were out of town and all of our friends, just one last get together. And at that social, John had mentioned to you that I was in desperate need of a new phone. And so you really came in and saved the day and gifted this awesome Aove phone for a wedding present for myself and for John. And now John's jealous and he wants to get an Aove phone also. So we'll kind of be talking today about how someone can get set up with one of these phones, what my experience has been like. But before we dive into all of that, I wanted to ask you to just, very briefly introduce yourself and kind of explain what motivated you to create this company and the impact that it's had so far on your client base.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Ramiro Romani, and I'm the founder of Aove Phone and Take Back Our Tech. I started my career in the corporate center as a software engineer, and I worked there for almost half a decade until all this COVID madness started happening around me. And I had the foresight to see what was to come, which was corporations not respecting my individual rights and sovereignty and freedom from forced medical experiments. So I really had to buckle down and say, is there a way out of this where I can provide for myself in a system that respects me? And luckily, I started working with John and Derek around that time on the Freedom Cell network. And at first, I was helping out with the site, getting paid in crypto, which I'm sure a lot of you know by using Live Free Academy's courses. And through that, I was able to set up my foundational base. And then as I started to help them and we worked on more projects like the Greater Reset, our conference that's coming up in January, I realized like, wow, if there's anyone who needs know how to use liberating technology more than anyone, it is activists and truth speakers and freedom fighters. So I started to position myself, how can I best help this little community that we have to protect themselves and their communications? Because there are a lot of there's a lot of people out there who are promoting false solutions, and I was able to see this, so I just wanted to give my 2 cents on that. So from that, I started this company, Aove Agency, and our first product is Aove Phone, which is a complete privacy phone solution. We started last year in the summer, and we have hundreds of very happy customers, and I'm super grateful to have the opportunity to share that with you. And then I also write for my own educational initiative called Take Back Our Tech. That's our more community service oriented part of what we do, which is we offer free articles and free videos showing you how to protect your computer, showing you how to use friendly software, and also showing you how to use that software to exist outside of the system in a healthful and abundant way. So you can follow me at takebackourtech.org. And of course, Rebecca is going to show off the wonderful Aove Phone site. Thank you, Rebecca. So this is the Aove Phone site, and yeah, I'll give you a bird's eye view of everything that's going on here. So before we ever decided to put out a phone, it was actually our company figuring out what we were going to use to communicate internally, because we were working on activist projects. We had clients. So how are you going to communicate securely? We spent around half a year looking at the best solutions for end-to-end encrypted communications that were actually easy to use and that we could replace our current phones. And thus, we found Aove Phone. Aove Phone is a combination of open source technologies. It's not just secure hardware. It's not just a de-Googled operating system. It's not just the free and sourced applications. It's all of that, plus the lifestyle of you knowing the importance of your data and working outside the system. So we've created this company and experience to be as easy as possible, even for people who don't have the most technical knowledge. And to back that up, we have a support team on staff. We've created a knowledge base that helps walk you through everything with videos and articles. And then we're also releasing more hands-on videos showing exactly what to do with the phone. And I do want to say this isn't some this isn't some phone that you would think a hacker would use, and you need to like break into something to actually use it. It's so simple, and we make it easier for you by having everything you need outside of the box. So when Rebecca mentioned that she needed a phone, but she wasn't sure if she could do this, I was very confident that she could do this because I know she's a savvy creator and marketer, and I've seen her make videos before, so I knew it would be no problem. And for those of you at home, I know you're going to be able to get this. So we've got all of these phones on screen right now. These are our latest phones, and I guess this would be a good time to mention our sale. We have our biggest sale yet going on. I'm just going to mention this first, and then we can get into more. We can do the scrolling banner, and so we have this big sale going on where we have $100 off any phone on the store right now, which is super great. It's the biggest discount we've ever done across all the phones. And then we realized after, a lot of our customers would get it for their husband or get it for their wife. They would be the guinea pig, right? And then the question was always, how can I make sure that even when I text my family members that both sides are protected? Well, it takes two people to tango. It takes two to tango. It takes two motivated people. It takes two privacy phones. It takes the encrypted messenger on each phone, which is easy to set up, but it just takes two people, right? If you use phone calls and text, unfortunately, all of those travel through big telecom, and there is a legal basis for them to collect all of our phone calls and text messages that is kind of baked into telecom laws. Like they need the government needs lawful access to access any of those communications if they want. So what's the solution? Well, it's not to rely on phone calls and text messages. It's to use alternative internet-based communications. And so that's what the Above Phone is all about. And we'll dig into all of that. And I guess where I was going with that was now is the best time to get multiple phones for yourself if you're a couple. If you're a family, even if you're a small group or a freedom cell, we're offering really big discounts if you buy more than one phone. We're offering $300 off of the 6 Pro. So those are coming in at $800 a piece. And then we're also offering big discounts on the 6A and 5A. All really great phones, really easy to use. And yeah, I hope you will give them a shot, and we'll talk more about the phones and show it off so you are familiar. Rebecca, I'm curious. Tell me what you like about your phone so much so far.
Definitely. For the holiday season, it's nice to have that fresh start, and it's a great gift, the gift of privacy. So I am and I'm not very techie, despite my nerdy headset I'm wearing today. I've used Droids pretty much my whole adult life. So the transition process for me, we did a 10-minute phone call to get set up, and it was very smooth. It's like literally the exact same as my other phone that I was using. It was a Samsung, only I like it more. I mean, the camera's better. It's a really nice screen, the size, the brightness, everything's been really good. It's been about 3 days. So let's see if I can figure out how to walk through showing the actual phone. This is going to be my test. Dun, 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 dun. I did it. As you can see, I've got a lot of missed calls. Let me see. So this is the phone. It's a Pixel 7, I believe. Oh, it needs to go more this way. Perfect. So, I mean, everything's pretty much the exact same, except for instead of the Google Play Store that you would usually see, I guess now we use something called Aurora Store. So as long as, you're aware of what the apps are called that you're using in lieu of the Google services, it's really been a very simple process.
Will you try searching? Okay, yeah, perfect. Yeah, nice job. So yeah, like Rebecca was saying, so the Aurora store, normally right now the way we get apps is through two corporations, right? The Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. And these two companies basically track who is downloading what app, and they also force things on the developers. So what Aurora Store has done, and I know these developers, and we work with them, they're really great guys. They've created a private way for you to get apps, your favorite apps that you would normally use, even big tech apps, onto your de-Googled phone so that Google doesn't know. And it's super beautiful and it works well. As you can see, you can get all the apps that you're used to.
Yeah, like there's still, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everything that you would expect to see. And then I noticed there was this other one too, Neo Store. I haven't really navigated this one too much, but what's the benefit of this one? So there's kind of these two are the main ones you want to know about. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the cool part about I mentioned earlier, there's only like two places to get apps. Well, that is changing. Now we're not having to go through corporations, and we can go through developers themselves. So the Neo Store is a wrapper over F-Droid, which is an alternative app store, but there's a few requirements for you to publish your app on F-Droid. One, all the code needs to be public, right? So everyone can see with their eyes. So there are developers actually looking over it and seeing if there are any features that would be negative to your privacy. So these are called free and open source apps, and those are the two rules, right? The code needs to be public, and two, the code needs to be free, meaning that people can take your code, copy it, and distribute it as they wish. It's a more organic way of releasing software. It's a more free way to have intellectual property. And what that means is that there's more choices for you as the user. There's more innovation. And so what we've done with the Above Phone is we've found the best free and open source apps and put them on there. And now you have private ways to navigate, private ways to call, private ways to manage your passwords, all these things and more, crypto, everything that we can get into. And you're not having a corporation sitting in between looking at everything you're doing.
And so, something that I think people would find helpful is just the hands-on, kind of walking through the steps. You're putting on a webinar on Monday, is that December 11th?
The December 12th, yes.
December 12th. Okay. So can you share about that and kind of what folks can expect? And if they are curious or if this is something that they feel would benefit themselves or their family members, what are they going to be able to kind of walk away from that free webinar understanding, and how can they incorporate that into their day-to-day lives?
Awesome. Yeah, totally. So this is our second webinar. This is called the Free Communications Webinar. We hold these on our learning site, which is learn.abovephone.com. And we've already done a Above the Rules webinar, which was kind of our high-level look at everything the Above Phone can do. So now for a second webinar, we're taking a focus on end-to-end encrypted messaging, voice calling, and video calling, and how easy it is, how free it is, and how decentralized it is, which I think a lot of people don't know, is like we're showing you, hey, okay, phone numbers are bad. Here's what you should use instead. And we're also showing you how you can do it for free, how you can get your friends and family on board for free, how you can use it on any device, and a lot of bonuses too, like how to send files among yourselves, how to really use this to be your main communication tool. Before you can really have it be a communication tool, you need to know how to get your friends and family on it. So that's what this course is all about. Sorry, not course, this free webinar is about. So it will be live streamed, and if you want to join us for the live stream, go to abovephone.com, and as soon as you scroll down, you'll see the free communications webinar. It's like a little yellow image. Click on that, and there's an RSVP form in there. You will be the first to know when we're going live, which will be noon, December 12th, this coming Monday. And yeah, I would love to see you there and give you this information, teach you more about the phone. And then our sale will continue on till Wednesday. So you have a few days to digest and think about it and see how awesome it is. That's right there. So on the front page, click on this and you can sign up through that modal. Yep, and just all we need is your name and your email, and then you get access to everything. There will also be free replays of all of this. Again, our learning website is learn.abovephone.com, and then we have 30 videos there for you already if you want to get kind of like the starter look at everything that phone can do. Yeah, thanks, Rebecca.
Awesome. Did you want to screen share the device that you had queued up?
Sure, yeah. Let's put it on screen. Cool. So this is, I believe this is the same phone that Rebecca has. It's really nice, as you can see. It's really smooth. This is how it comes out of the box. I've made very few adjustments. Maybe I've switched out Telegram for the text messaging app. But as you can see, it's a completely normal phone. We've got our dialer right here. And yeah, so the process is really simple moving on to one of these. And we set it up with Rebecca the other day, and it took like 10 minutes. All we did was switch the SIM card. Boom, her phone was activated. We switched over her contacts. Boom, she could call and text message people. And it's exactly what you would think, right? It's a normal phone. You can dial, you can text message people. And if you scroll to the left, here's all of the different apps and all the amazing things that they can do. We've got ways for you to navigate. We have anti-big tech apps. So there's Magic Earth, which is really great for routing and navigation. We've also got organic maps, which is a completely offline map, which means that, hey, I want to take a tour of the United States. So let's say you go from Texas to Pennsylvania. Organic maps will prompt you to download all of the maps in between ahead of time. That way, you don't even need cell service. You can navigate all the way through it just using your GPS alone, right? You don't even need a SIM card in your phone. So I think that's pretty amazing, and this is something we used on the activation tour, which I knew Rebecca and John spoke at in Texas, and then we took a tour across the country using free and open source technology like this. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that this isn't just an alternative, it's better, and it's here and it's ready for you to use with a little bit of adjustment, but that's what we're here for, to kind of discuss and teach each other. And of course, as people use this phone, they teach us back too in the cool different ways they use the phone. There's yeah, Rebecca, do you want to say anything?
I was just going to say, I kind of teased this video that we were doing, and I let some people know on my Telegram channel and my Facebook page to expect a video that we'd be walking through the Above Phone and my experience transitioning and using it. And I had a few different people comment, and all of them said the same thing. And it was, oh, I value that, and yeah, I'm interested in that, but I could never figure it out, or it's too complicated for me. And so I just want to reiterate that, it literally took 10 minutes. I think the most difficult process for me was figuring out the right direction to face the SIM card when I was putting it into the new phone. But I mean, it's been really simple, and it's basically the same thing. It's just learning like if you want maps, there's still ways to use maps. If you want to have the same programs that you were using before, it's you can still have your Facebook page or your Telegram app. It's just adding that extra layer of protection. And if you're willing to invest the time, then you have that benefit of privacy, and it's definitely worth it in my mind. How many people would you estimate you've helped so far? Like you said, you've gone on these tours, and you just launched the company like a couple years ago, right? I mean, there's probably been thousands of people using these phones by now, right?
I wish, right? I think it's funny. We've been helping a lot of people. We've been taking our growth slowly because that's what I believe is it was the key to success. And now recently we learned about, hey, promoting ourselves more and putting us out there. So we've seen massive growth just in the past 2 months. But we have about over 400 people using this phone. And then just because the underlying software is free and open source, there are thousands of people everywhere using these de-Googled phones. And so, yeah, this is something that I always say that you don't have to go through us. You can look at the operating systems that we sell on our phones: Calyx OS, Graphene OS, and Divest OS. And if you are more of the technical side and you're more hands-on, you like to do it yourself, you can always spend a weekend putting together one of these phones for yourself. And yeah, and that's more power to you. But if you want it out of the box, just ready to go, and with all the support you need and all the apps ready to go, I definitely recommend choosing us. And I guess what I'm trying to say with this is that it is easy, it is approachable. It just takes a little bit of a mindset shift because we have become so accustomed to our patterns on our old phone, right? Like maybe the way we get notifications, or maybe the way it scrolls and tells us about new things. And some of these could be harmful for us when they're used against us to maybe push new agendas at us, maybe to track us. So because this phone takes so much of that out, it allows you to be more of your natural self, allows you to create into the phone. It allows the phone to be a tool for you rather than you to be a
Yeah,
tool.
vice versa. So one thing that we really focus on with the PERMApowers podcast, not just well-being spiritually, but also physically, you mentioned that there are also some health benefits and there's some ways that you can program this so that at, for instance, the end of the night, the light on the screen and the brightness doesn't disrupt melatonin production. Can you kind of touch on
Sure.
that and how you can really use this to your advantage in terms of the different benefits with physical health?
Sure, yeah. So this is my quick toggles icon. I just want to show you how easy this is. So you swipe down. There's all your notifications. You swipe down again. So here's all of your quick toggles. You can here's a big one. We can talk about EMF. I'm going to talk about the nightlight first, but I'll come back to the EMF thing. Um, and then if you swipe over to the left, you can see the nightlight. And so this will it'll change the color temperature of your screen. I recently did a talk at the World Council of Health where we talked about the harmful blue light that comes off of all the screens. Even my light right here, my shining white LED light. I realized, yeah, that's super harmful for our retina. You might remember, when you use phones or computers late at night, you don't go to sleep. That's because the blue light is involved in regulating our circadian rhythm and actually causes us to stay up during the day. So go figure. So of course, if you want restful sleep at night, you could decide to turn the night light off. Of course, the best solution is to get yourself a pair of blue blocking glasses, which I'm sure we could talk about more. But there's helpful things like the nightlight. And then there's also, I think, definitely worth mentioning. I think this is a really big phenomenon that is going to happen. But it is turning our phones back into landlines almost through the use of internet communications. So this is a Ethernet adapter. This is the part that goes into the phone. Let's see if you can see that. My camera might not focus, but it goes in the bottom of the phone. And here's an Ethernet cord. So now you can connect your phone to the Ethernet and you can have it radiating no EMF off of the phone. How amazing is that? I recently started taking this a lot more seriously, and now I have one of these at my desk at all times that I keep my phone plugged into. It's kind of like having a landline, right? It's funny how that happens. It's like a wave. First, we got super wireless with everything, and then it was super harmful, and now there's solutions to come back down and be more healthful about it using this Ethernet. So we sell these Ethernet adapters along with the phones, and we've also measured ourselves. It once you put your phone on airplane mode and you connect it to the Ethernet with this thing, it's putting off no EMF, negligible amounts of EMF that are the same as your environment was before you bought the phone into there. So for people who are sensitive to EMF, which I'm actually learning, there's a lot more people out there. This could be a way you could use the phone. And some people have also asked, well, then how do I make phone calls and text messages? Well, again, we want to use internet-based communications, and luckily, this is something we're going to cover in our webinar. You can get a internet-based phone number that is anonymous. This is a new phone number that you can get. It's anonymous, so you don't have to give any information, your address or anything, and you can pay with it in Bitcoin. And it's only $3 a month, and it works on XMPP, which is a messaging protocol that we're going to be talking about during the webinar. I know it's a lot of big words and it sounds confusing, but no, it's actually really easy to set up, and I'd love to show you come next Monday. And I also love to get Rebecca set up with one of these phone numbers and one of these adapters. So maybe we got one of those coming up next with John's phone.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And I think the timing of this webinars are really, in December and you've got the holidays, and this is like the perfect time to kind of hibernate, reflect on what you've done well this year, what you want to change. And this is something that I think will really help a lot of people if they're just willing to put that upfront investment of time. And like literally, again, for me, it was like a 10-minute process of just switching the phone over. So, anything else, like any closing thoughts, things that you would like to share?
Yeah, I mean, I do want to mention one thing about the sale because I know sometimes we wait to the last minute. We have a pretty strict cutoff with this sale because of how crazy shipping gets and how much purchasing we have to do on our side. So the sale will end Wednesday, December 14th at midnight. So you need to make sure to buy before then. Otherwise, the phone may not get there in time for Christmas, right? It takes us a long time to prep the phones and get them sent out to you. And we want to make sure, they get in time to be in your Christmas stocking or your Christmas, your holiday tradition. So try and order it by the 14th. Otherwise, we may have to ship it out at the beginning of next year. So that's the one thing I wanted to say. The other thing is that any questions you have, we have two ways to get in contact with us on the Above Phone site. There is a little Telegram button in the bottom left. So if you're on Telegram, you can start chatting with us directly. And there's also a contact form that you can see in the navigation bar. So you can just send us the email through there. If you want a special deal, if you're like, okay, I like this phone, but then I want to get two of this other phone that's cheaper for my family, let us know and we'll work. We're a new type of company. We're not rigid in our ways. So let us know and we'll work with you and fix something.
Yeah, and before we wrap up, I'd like to just share about the Greater Reset. So, Ramiro, you are presenting at this event. You're one of the lead organizers. If you want to just do a quick elevator pitch for the Greater Reset and the benefits of, watching the live stream, or better yet, joining us in person, go ahead and take it away.
Well, I know someone else who's really cool who's speaking, who's luckily right here on the podcast. Yeah, we've got a bunch of heavy hitters. This is the Greater Reset for Co-Creation. This is our fourth event in the series. One I'd like to claim was the first solutions-focused conference where we stopped focusing on the problems and we focused on what we're going to start doing about it. And a lot of important announcements coming up, but this conference is happening January 18th to the 22nd. It's 5 days in a row. No other conference goes this big. And we have two beautiful locations, of course, in Bastrop with the awesome Live Free Academy, and John and Rebecca are. And that's actually the venue right there. It's super amazing. I was there for Exit and Build. And then we also have it in Morelia, Mexico. So if you want to make the trip down there, you can make the trip down. We have a lot of speakers coming in person, so it's a great way to rub elbows, meet people, and then we also have some awesome events going on after every night. I know we're going to have some awesome music events happening in Bastrop too. I know Zuby's interview dropped yesterday. So we've got the schedule in front of us right here. There's 5 days with 5 different themes. We focus on health. We focus on permaculture and food independence. We focus on counter economics, which is how to build a life outside of the system. We focus on liberating technology, of course. I'm going to be speaking on this day along with a lot of awesome people. The lead maintainer of Monero, the privacy cryptocurrency, is going to be speaking, and some other close friends. And then also the final day, save the best for last maybe, building free and conscious communities. And we're going to have some awesome stuff. And I know Rebecca is wrapping it up with a talk and a panel. So do not miss this. If you want to watch live, go to thegreaterreset.org and make sure to sign up for the email list so you know when exactly it's going to go live. And if you're feeling adventurous, join us in person. The tickets are for sale. Just go on the front page of our site. There's one for Texas. There's one for Mexico. Either way, it's going to be a blast, and I would encourage you to drop in. Hey, we got an RSS feed in there too. Love it. Rebecca, did you want to come in and say anything else?
Sorry about that. I was trying to move the mouse from one screen to the other, and it would not move. I'm like, what is happening? Well, I would just like to express my gratitude to you, first and foremost, for sending me this amazing Above Phone. I love it. It's been great and a really smooth, simple transition. I've been wanting to de-Google my life for a very long time. I'm not proud of it, but I've used Google for almost everything. Google Drive, Google Photos, Google Slides, Google Doc, you name it. It's a disaster. So this, I am feeling very accomplished, is a very good first step in the right direction to, protect myself and have more privacy and to just relearn some of the old habits that weren't really serving me, but were rather convenient, but not necessarily the best in terms of like having a holistic, lifestyle and alignment with freedom and privacy and that sort of thing. So just thank you, Ramiro, so much for sending the phone. I really appreciate it. And I'm really glad that we had an opportunity to share this information. And thank you for being on the podcast. You're the third guest to ever be on the PERMApowers podcast. So we've discussed some interesting topics. We've discussed seasteading and now the above phone privacy and having that encryption and all those benefits. So
where can I subscribe and tell my friends about PERMApowers?
Hey, thanks. Yes. So I am still building up the pages, but I have a YouTube channel, PERMApowers. And the reason it's called PERMA is it's an acronym for positive psychology for well-being. So positive emotion, engagement, relationships, meaning, accomplishment. And if we can kind of analyze our life and the decisions we make and align with the PERMA model for well-being, that's kind of the secret sauce to living a more abundant, prosperous, and fulfilled lifestyle. So yeah, YouTube. I do have a Telegram channel, and I need to get my website back up and going. I had a lot of blog posts about like living off the grid and the process of going from normie life to growing your own food and having a tiny home and all these unique alternative living experiences that I've kind of dove headfirst into the last few years.
Yeah, I know you have a lot to say too on that note, so I'm looking forward to the content. But from what when I've hung out with you and John, you guys are always doing. So yeah, I know it sometimes takes time to transition, but I'm super excited. We'll be following the podcast on NewPipe, the private version of YouTube on the Aove Phone. And
cool.
Thanks so much for having me again.
Thank you for joining me and looking forward to the webinar on Monday, December 12th.
See you there.
Thanks, Ramiro.
Bye.